Info Factory Track for CSI, Work Centre Material Issue. The Work Centre Material Issue transaction has several parameters to control the validations, displayed fields and processing options that are permitted as part of the Work Centre Material Issue process. These are defined on the Transaction Set Parameters form for the Work Centre Material Issue transaction. For this training, we have all the parameters turned on in order to show where these fields appear and how the validations occur in the transaction steps. To start the Work Centre Material Issue process, from the Factory Track Warehouse Mobility main menu, click on the Make It icon. This then navigates to the Production Transaction screen where you click on the Work Centre Material Issue icon. To initiate the Work Centre Material Issue, the following is required. We enter, scan or search and select from the warehouse list for the warehouse ID where the items are located. This can also be defaulted to the user's warehouse based on the configuration setting on the Transaction Set Maintenance form. You enter, scan or search and select the Work Centre ID from which you are issuing the materials. Select the type of transaction you are performing. The options are Issue to take materials to the Work Centre or Reverse to remove materials from the Work Centre. We enter, scan or search and select the employee ID associated with this transaction. This field is only available if the Enter Employee option has been selected on the Transaction Set Maintenance form. We can enter the document number which can be used to tie transactions together. The Work Centre description field is displayed after specifying the Work Centre ID. The employee name is displayed if an employee ID is specified. Click on Next to continue. To issue non-lot, non-serial material items to a Work Centre, Factory Track displays the processing form. It displays data from the previous form, including the warehouse ID, the Work Centre, the employee, the type of transaction, the item description which appears after the item has been specified, the available quantity which again appears after the specification of the location associated with the item. We then enter, scan or search and select the item for the material to be issued to the Work Centre or returned from the Work Centre when the transaction type is reverse. We enter, scan or search and select the location ID from where you would like to issue the material or to which you would like to return the material when the transaction type is reverse. Factory Track defaults this value based on the item's location ranking. Enter the quantity to be issued or returned. In an issue transaction, Factory Track will error if the entered quantity exceeds the available quantity unless the Allow Negative Inventory option is selected on the Transaction Set Maintenance form. We can then enter, scan or search and select the unit of measure. This field is enabled only if the Enter Unit of Measure option is selected on the Transaction Set Maintenance form. Click on Process to continue. After the process is completed, Factory Track navigates the user back to the previous screen to allow for the continuation of the issue or reverse process. Selecting a different menu item or clicking back will end the continued processing. To issue lot-controlled materials to a Work Centre, Factory Track displays the processing form. A similar process is followed as the non-lot, non-serial item process. However, Factory Track requires an additional field to be defined. We enter, scan or search and select the lot ID associated with the material to be issued or returned. Factory Track defaults this value based on the issued by definition for the item stock room locations in CSI. We then click on Process to continue. To issue serial controlled material items to a Work Centre, Factory Track again displays the processing form. A similar process is followed as the non-lot, non-serial item process. However, Factory Track requires the capture of the serial numbered items for the transaction. After providing the location and quantity to issue on the first two forms, the application displays a form to capture and process the specific serial information for the total quantity as defined by the quantity entered on the previous screen. The Scan Quantity field is displayed to indicate the quantity of serial number items that have been captured in the process so far. We then enter, scan or search and select the serial numbers for the quantity of items to be issued to the Work Centre or returned from the Work Centre. Once the scan quantity equals the total quantity, the processing option is enabled. Click on Process to process the Work Centre material issue or return. Click on the Show List to show the list of serial numbers captured in the process, or click on Clear List to remove the serial numbers captured in the process so far and begin again.